G'day, my name is Gareth. I'm a travel filmmaker based in Sydney, Australia, and I'm currently on board the Celebrity Solstice cruise ship on a 4-night cruise from Sydney to Melbourne return. In my previous film, my girlfriend and I found the most amazing gym, plus we also found an incredible restaurant with incredible food. But today, on day 3, we have just arrived in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm about to be your tour guide for the next 20 minutes, where I'll take you to Old Melbourne Jail, Flinders Street Station, Federation Square, Luna Park, plus I show you some of the amazing AC/DC history in this city. Here we go. Alright guys, day 3. We've just docked at Melbourne. It's around about 9:30 in the morning. That really cool boat over there is the Spirit of Tasmania. So if you want to go to Tasmania and not fly there, well, you get this boat. And I think some of these boats can actually transport cars. I'm not sure if that one can, but yeah, I think Vicky did that when she was much younger. I think she got a boat from here in Melbourne to Tasmania. I think my parents have done it as well. That's definitely something I would love to do in the future someday, but there it is, Spirit of Tasmania. But hello Melbourne! How amazing is this city? Let's go check it out. Here we go. Very nice. Hey Melbourne, how's it going? It never ceases to amaze me how big this ship truly is. And there goes the Spirit of Tasmania right now, check it out. Just like every theme park you've ever been to, as soon as you leave the place, they walk you through a souvenir shop. This way, babe, coming to a place like Melbourne wouldn't be complete without a tram ride, let's face it. You know me guys, I love my trains and trams. Let's go for a ride. This is one of the beautiful old ones. You gotta love these trams, hell yes. Don't you just love Melbourne's trams? Sydney used to have an absolutely huge tram network. It was so huge in fact that it was the world's biggest tram network. There were more trams in Sydney than anywhere else. About 1930s, 1940s, 50s, 60s. They got rid of them they got rid of pretty much all of them by the 1960s, but they're now starting to bring them back one by one, so that's great that they're doing that. But Melbourne was smart enough. Melbourne were the wise people back in the day not to remove the trams. They were under peer pressure. Why not just use buses? Buses were the new technology. Why use old rail and old trams? Well, just scrap the whole thing. We can use brand new buses. Well, that's what Sydney did. Turns out buses are really bad for pollution and they can't carry nearly as much as trams can. So yeah, Sydney are bringing them back, but Melbourne still has them. They're amazing. So when you're in Melbourne, one cool place to check out is this place right here. But it wasn't cool back in the day. Oh no, if you would have been coming here back in the day, you would have been a convict, because this is the Old Melbourne Jail. This is the place where notorious thug, gangster, criminal, he stole from the rich and gave to the poor. No, he didn't, that was Robin Hood. He just stole from the rich and gave it to himself. Something like that, but it was Ned Kelly, the guy with the Iron Man helmet. That's right, the original Robert Downey Jr. himself was killed, was hung here in the Old Melbourne Jail. I think the last words he ever said was, "Such is life." And then he was literally hung. And it's right here in Melbourne. Come check it out. We had to come and have a look. I've been here once before. Vicky did when she was 12, but this is Old Melbourne Jail. Many people have been hung. Many people have been killed, whether it be professionally done by the police, by the court system, or people, you know, jail inmates that have killed another person. This place has a lot of history, and unfortunately, not much of it is good. When the inmates left their cell, they had to wear that mask to isolate themselves from other prisoners. Pretty much the justice system back in the day wanted no human interaction as best as possible. So they covered everyone's face, all the inmates' face, so they couldn't communicate with each other and they didn't know who was who. Really sad when you think about it. This looks like Ned Kelly's cell. So when he was arrested, this was the cell he was brought to and this is where he was residing in. How incredible. The outlaw, the notorious outlaw Ned Kelly was in this place against his will. He absolutely hated it, and surely, of course he did. But it was to become his resting place too, or at least the place where he would be killed. He's like the official Iron Man before Iron Man existed.
He really is.
Yeah. So I don't think they do this much anymore, if at all. But back in the day, when the justice system used to kill someone, they used to do a death mask of them. So they used to copy their face using plaster or something like that. And this is actually the death mask of Ned Kelly. How incredible. It's actually here. And you can see that that would have been over his face after he was killed. Incredible. Spooky, but incredible. Alright, so this is pretty much the cell where you'd be staying for however long you're here for. And this is the bed. Let's give it a go. I'm a tall guy, so this would be where I would be sleeping and dreaming about my execution if I was here. So just above me right now is where the hanger's noose was, where they hung all the inmates from here. Ned Kelly, of course, was one of them. And just there is the trapdoor. So the trapdoor would have been opened and the people would have just come. Either the neck would break if you're lucky, that would kill you pretty much instantly, and if you weren't lucky, you would suffocate. But that is the trapdoor, right there. Wow. Imagine walking up these steps knowing that these are the last steps you'll ever take, because these steps lead to the hanger's noose. I mean, that's such a great, significant, horrible feeling. Wow. Alright guys, so this is the actual spot where Ned was hung. 53 people have actually been hung in this very spot, but 133 in total in the jail yard. Before this place was actually built, they used to hang people, you know, outside in the road area and outside in the courtyard. If the rope was too long, when the trapdoor would have opened, it would have made them drop so far that their head could have actually come off their body. So when you think about that, that's pretty crazy. So they had to make sure the rope was just long enough to hopefully break their neck, but not rip it off. So this is where I would have been killed. If I was a criminal back in the day, this is where I would have stood. They would have covered my face, they would have put the rope around my neck. And once again, they have to measure the rope based on your body height, so they don't want you falling too much, otherwise your head could literally come off your body. Ouch. Amazing, right? But yeah, this is where I would be falling. Really spooky. I have this feeling in my head right now that I'm going to fall through by accident. Do you know what I mean? Like some sort of accident. I'm going to be on the news tonight where I'm going to fall through. Some guy died at Old Melbourne Jail. The guy where Ned Kelly was killed. Hopefully that's not me. But yeah, I'm kind of walking on this very gingerly right now, hoping not to fall through. Spooky. It's a very spooky place. So Vix, what are your thoughts so far about this creepy place?
Very creepy.
How would you think you would cope if you were here?
At all. Not at all.
So apparently there was 4 women that actually were hung in this place as well.
And there's a child.
A child?
He was 14.
Really?
And he was in here. I don't know if he was hung though.
I believe over the years there have been a few cases of, you know, people getting into scuffles, people getting into fights up here in these higher levels, and basically being pushed off the side, pushed off the edge, and you would definitely have a broken bone, if not death. Yeah, that's very crazy. Well, let's leave the slightly depressing Old Melbourne Jail behind and continue our journey throughout the CBD of Melbourne, and let's see what we can find in this amazing place. Show us a photo, show us a photo. Are you good?
Maybe?
That's alright.
I like it.
Success. Yay. Right behind me is one of Australia's most loved and hated buildings because, well, look at it. It's a very interesting design. Many Australians didn't like it when it first arrived here, but it's, of course, Federation Square. There are 470,000 individual square pieces of sandstone blocks surrounding Federation Square. Then they've come all the way from Perth, Australia. Those square blocks are to represent the outback, dusty feel of Australia. The one really cool thing about Federation Square is that the whole building sits on top of about 15 railway tracks. It's pretty much a building on stilts. There it is right there, and there's the trains. I thought that was a really cool thing. Because Flinders Street Station and Federation Square are right next to each other, that's why they had to pretty much put a roof over the railway tracks to build the building. Pretty cool when you think about it. How much does it cost to go in there? Well, it's pretty much free. Got a lot of art galleries and things like that to see and do. Very cool place. But of course, just in front of me, Flinders Street Station. Well, if you've ever been to Melbourne, you'll obviously recognise this station. It's the beautiful Flinders Street Station. What a magnificent building. There's one really cool thing that most people don't know about this station. In that dome, on the very top of this building, in that dome, is a old ballroom, dance room area where dances used to take place, like The Shining. That's the only thing I can reference right now. Here's Johnny. But until recently, it's been abandoned for like 30, 40 years, something like that. I think they're trying to renovate it now. So just next door to the Flinders Street Station and Federation Square is the famous St. Paul's Cathedral. Beautiful historic building, one of the most famous known buildings in Australia. On this street, which is Swanston Street, if you guys are a fan of AC/DC, that really cool Sydney, Australia band, yes, I had to say that, I'm a Sydney boy myself. Like that, Melbourne, I'm from Sydney. I'm gonna get bashed in a second, but anyway. This is the street where AC/DC shot their music video. It's a long way to the top. And if you remember, they were actually on the back of a truck, traveling from that way to this way, and at the end of the music video was pretty much at the start of St. Paul's Cathedral, but this was the street. It's a long way to the top if you wanna rock and roll. But anyway, that was 1975. They ended up building that with the lead singer Bon Scott. After that, 5 years later, Bon Scott unfortunately passed away of alcohol poisoning in London. But I guess we ended up getting a good singer, Brian Johnson. He was pretty good. But then Axl Rose started to do his job. What's with Axl Rose as Brian Johnson? Come on. But just up here past St. Paul's Cathedral is a really cool little laneway called AC/DC Laneway with artwork and all that. Let's go up there and have a look. And here it is, guys. It's a very out of the way, small little area. If you walk past it without knowing, you really wouldn't know, because of course you wouldn't know, right? Here it is, AC/DC Lane. This place actually used to be called Corporation Lane, but in 2004 the Council of Melbourne changed it to AC/DC Lane as a tribute, of course, because they filmed in Swanston Street. But let's have a quick look down here. Up there you've got Bon Scott, a really cool three-dimensional piece of artwork celebrating the life of Bon Scott. And you've got some really cool paintings of Malcolm Young, who has unfortunately passed away recently as well. What do you reckon, Vicky?
It's amazing. I like that one with the tree, him holding the tree.
I like that one too. You can just see the amount of years on that poster wall. It's like looking at a tree's age. You read the tree's age by looking at the rings around the tree, right? Well, it's just such a grimy, dirty place. It shows you all the posters, layer upon layer upon layer after all these years. But it's really good. I've been to Melbourne like 3 times in my life, and not once have I come to AC/DC Lane. So pretty cool to see Corporation Street. I mean AC/DC Lane. it. We actually made it. Yeah, there we go. Just made it to Luna Park, but to be completely honest, we're in a bit of a rush right now. We're trying to get to places here and there, all around the city, and then make it back to our cruise ship in time. Cool, so Luna Park, really cool place. We haven't really got enough time to go inside, but I've got an interesting story to tell you guys. This apparently was the first Luna Park in Australia. One of 5 apparently. There were 4 more of these built in Australia. Sydney of course included as the famous Luna Park next to the Sydney Harbour Bridge, but this one's probably got the weirdest smile in my opinion. It's a bit of a freak show, let's face it. Still pretty. I think it's probably a face only a mother could love, but anyway, the others that were built in Australia were actually demolished. So the only 2 that exist now these days are actually Sydney and Melbourne, and yeah, this is the Melbourne one. Cool, right? Now, if you've got the time, there's actually a very nice little beach behind Luna Park, but we've got pretty much zero zilch time right now. But yeah, very nice location. So I just stopped at JB Hi-Fi to get 2 really good memory cards for my camera. I really needed it. I forgot to bring my hard drive to upload all my footage to my computer. I've got a laptop, right, which I upload my footage to my laptop. So because I've forgotten the hard drive, there's pretty much no more space left on my laptop computer. So I'm running out of space. I pretty much got all this footage that I can't put anywhere. But anyway, we've got about 1 hour to get this ship. This is slightly concerning, but yeah, we're in Bourke Street Mall right now. My girlfriend Vicky, she has gone to Maya, which is about a kilometre away from JB Hi-Fi, so I'm meeting up with her now and hopefully we can get the ship in time. But at the moment, slightly stressed, I won't lie. Hopefully we get there in time. Here she is, I found her! That was a great shot with a tram behind you then. Really great. Hi baby. Did you get your stuff, baby?
Yes, I did.
I got my SD cards.
Go into Maya.
Didn't you?
Yeah, I went.
Whatever you need, sports girl, whatever. But anyway, so we're in Bourke Street Mall right now. Yeah. Anyway, this mall's pretty famous. If you ever come to Melbourne, this is another place you should absolutely check out. It is jam-packed with human beings, just being human beings, enjoying life.
Really friendly.
Who is?
The salespeople.
Yeah, they are. They have to be because they're getting paid.
Still.
True. No, they are very nice people actually. But yeah, Bourke Street Mall here in Melbourne. Really fantastic place. It's usually packed with trams, but at the moment, oh, there's one behind me there, but yeah, at the moment it's pretty much dead with that. But yeah, cool. We're gonna go back to the ship right now. So yeah, a little bit stressed right now, but off the tram. Gonna get one more tram to the ship. Hopefully we're gonna make it. Doesn't look like it. Waiting for our tram, and that was not it. I repeat, that was not our tram. And we made it. We are off, and we're about to be on the ship in a second. Winning! Look at the ship, there it is. We have just made it in the nick of time. Yes. Yep. No, they were definitely right about that. They 100% were. Yay, baby, we're back. It's been an ordeal, but Vicky's a real trooper. She managed to do it really well. The seagulls are going absolutely crazy for the churned up water because all the fish are like getting, you know, really disturbed and all that. So the seagulls are trying to eat the fish. It's really cool to watch. There's literally 1,000+ seagulls there. All right, guys, that is it. We have officially just left. We are heading off to the great unknown. Well, we know where we're going. We're going back to Sydney in 2 days' time, but that's okay. That sounds more mysterious that way. We just had a shower, just freshened the hell up because it's been a bit of a stressful one, but we needed to get from location to location within about 6 hours, and I think we've done it. I think we've managed to get some great shots in that amount of time. So guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, click like, give me subscribe, and I will see you for the next cruise ship video or two. I'm not really sure, but I'll see you very soon, guys. I love you all. Bye.